So I'm here to talk to you today about delayed gratification. Have you ever been asked to wait for something and maybe you didn't want to, but you ultimately decided to do that? This is Ron Wojciechowski with a consumer tip for you from Wise Home Team Realty. It's been my experience in this market with low inventory and hotly contested properties and multiple offers that some people have decided to sit it out for just a little bit. And I've got 5 things that I want to talk about that might help you as you're on the sidelines temporarily in today's market. The first thing is that you will have time to reach out to a trusted agent, set up alerts, and monitor the market and see where the opportunities might be, see the listing price, see the negotiations, and see where the sales price ends up to understand the flow of what a property might sell for in particular neighborhoods. So that's definitely one thing that you can do with your trusted agent. The second thing that I would have you do is spend some time with your lender to make sure that you're doing everything you can to increase your credit score. That might be paying down some debt, that might be getting, if you have a credit card, they might increase the limit and your usage rate would go down. So there's a couple of ways to increase your credit. And of course, paying things down is always a plus. Oh, and do not buy a car. Do not buy a car. Oh, did I mention don't buy a car? Because if you buy a car, it's going to greatly impact the house that you can purchase. And by the way, after you get the house, you can buy all the cars that you want. Just make sure you don't buy a car. So that's on the financing piece. Now, the next thing that I will talk about is the down payment or the closing costs. If you're going to go in with a FHA loan at 3.5% down or a conventional at 5% down, you might have to save $10,000 or $15,000 for the down payment. Yep, you hear that honk? That's your warning sign, because there's closing costs too. And if you're not factoring for closing costs, you could fall short at the closing. So think about this. If you're buying a home in the $250,000 range, you might need about $20,000 in the bank. Double honk, you definitely want about $20,000 in the bank to even think about making that purchase. Or we're going to have to ask the seller for some help with the closing costs. And in this market, that might impact whether or not you actually get the house. So along the lines of meeting with your agent is one of the things that we haven't really talked about. That's setting up alerts. And I know I touched on getting to know the values and seeing the homes that you like and what they sold for, but alerts are also important. And if you set it up for immediate, you can exhaust yourself. And what I mean by that is if every time a new listing comes on and you start looking at it, you're feeding into that frenzy even when you're on the sideline, and it can be a little frustrating. You might want to set your alerts for once a week or twice a week and see them in bunches as opposed to every 10 minutes, because that could get super frustrating. The last thing is let your family and friends know that you're in the market looking for houses. Chances are, it's like when you buy a red car, you suddenly see a lot of red cars. I would imagine that some of your friends are also quietly, secretly looking at houses too, and you might share the knowledge of what you're succeeding with as well as what you're struggling with. And don't worry that your friend's going to steal your house. It is so rare that 2 people ever focus on the same house because we all have different tastes and preferences. I hope this is helping you out with 5 reasons why in today's market it might be okay to be on the sideline for just a little bit. This is Ron Wojciechowski at Wise Home Team Realty.